Is my hair on fire again? Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. I'm James, and we are continuing the conundrum of this Craftsman 1960s table saw, getting it set up. We have gotten some parts in. We are now going to get going on getting a couple of things. This saw is lacking a number of safety features. It is most notably, it is lacking any way to keep the kerf open when you are cutting wood. It allows, because there is nothing on this end for a riving knife, for a splitter, or anything like that. So what we have done is we've gotten two products that we're going to help resolve that. The first part of this series is we are going to install a zero clearance table saw insert to replace this. This is actually a replacement of the old table saw insert. As you can see, there's a little bit of a gap in this one, and this one is also not the original. But in order to do that, the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure that your saw blade is 90 degrees to your table. You also need to make sure that it's not wiggly to your miter slots. You need to make sure that it's perpendicular. And in order to do that, you need to find your manual and follow the instructions in your manual, because they're all different. So I've done that. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take this old aluminum insert off, and this is actually, this one's got a part number on the bottom that says Emerson 158542-Charlie is the part number on this. Now, I was a little concerned when I got the replacement. The replacement is actually from Lee Craft, and this is made out of phenolic resin, and you will see I was a little concerned because the adjustment holes don't line up, but after I have extracted this, you can see that there is plenty of meat in here for those to sit down on. So there are a couple of different adjustments that you have on this. The first one is going to be the height, because we're going to want to adjust this so that it is flush or just a skosh, maybe even a smidge down below the level of this table. The other thing that we want it to do is we want it to sit in there nice and snugly, and we can do that because we have an adjustment screw and an adjustment screw. So we can back those out or pull those in as we need to get it so that it not only sits down in there flat, that it sits in there and it doesn't wiggle around. So the first thing you got to do is we got to put this blade down, and always remember whenever you're working on your tools to unplug the silly things. Isn't that great noise? As you can tell, the blade is usually not run way up that high. Now, our blade and your insert model is going to be based on the particular type of table saw that you have. This is a CR2. They actually make 4 different styles for the Craftsman saws. At least I saw 4 different ones. And it already has a slot cleaned out so that you're not going to have to punch through every bit of this. So if we put this in here, you'll notice it's not flat. We can move it forwards and backwards. I can also move it side to side. So let's see, what are we going to use? Let's use a 3/32 Allen key or a hex wrench. And this is where I'm going to check for this. I want to be able to slide right over that. You could get like really fancy and do this. That makes a great noise. It drives some people crazy. and it's just a process. So now, if I push on this corner to corner, I don't get any rocking. Also, when you adjust, make sure that your little ledge is cleaned off, because if you've got some caked up sawdust there, it'll make that a little more difficult. So now we're nice and flat this way, but I can push it back and forth, and I don't want it to do that. So I'm gonna pull that out, and we're gonna back this adjustment screw off. Now, if you back it out too far, you see how we're now riding up on the lip here. There, I've got my forwards and backwards slop out of there. I still got a little bit of side to side. So now we adjust this one. So it takes a little bit of time, because when you adjust one, you gotta adjust the other. But anyways, there we go. I'm not rocking back and forth. I don't have any play this direction. I don't have any play this direction. So now the next thing we get to do is we get to get ready to put our nice big hole with our saw blade up through here. Now, the way that I'm going to do it is the way that the manufacturer suggests. I am going to place a board that totally covers this, and then I'm going to clamp it down, and then I'm going to put it up. I'm going to slowly move the blade up as it's running to cut its way through here. That's the way the manufacturer suggests to do it. That's the way I'm going to do it. We're all big boys and girls here. If you want to do it some other unsuggested, unsafe way, that's up to you, and let's hope at the end of the day you come away with everything you walked into the shop with. Be sure that when you clamp this down, you check what you're clamping it to underneath. Make sure that you are not interfering with any of the mechanism, with the trunnion moving around underneath. If you have a belt like I do, you want to make sure that your clamps are not getting in the way of anything that's going to make life go, crazy insane. Let's take a look. And there we go. One nice zero clearance insert. You can see where there's a little bit of wobble in my blade. So there's part one of getting our table saw a little bit safer. The next part, what we're going to do is we're going to now put a a kerf keeper system in there. And that'll be in the next video. So check back on that. Let's hope that the White Death doesn't involve us and that we actually live to finish this job. You guys have a great weekend. I'm James. Cheers. Hey, if you like this episode of RATTLECAN Guitar Restorations, you might want to check this video out as well. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, and if you'd like to help the channel grow, consider stepping over to our Patreon page and giving that a look. Y'all have a good weekend. Cheers.